All right, well, I got my Creality laser cutter today. This is the 60-watt Falcon 2 Pro, and I'm gonna open this up and put it together and have fun together. So let's see how this goes. I may zip through parts of this if it gets a little dull, but we'll see what we got. This came in yesterday. Was shipped pretty well. It was on its side when I got it, but doesn't seem to be anything too bad about it. You can see it's all packed securely in foam. Everything looks good so far. We've got some sample wood and some foam on top. And this appears to be the majority of the package. Trixie is itching to come up here and help. She loves tape, so anytime there is tape around, she is around. All right. This looks like this is the drawer for the laser parts, and also is the bottom piece for the laser. Set that off to the side. Got another, oh, this is the top glass part. Set that off to the side, and another piece of the top. Don't see instructions in here. I do see a calibration sheet in here, which I'm sure we're going to use later for the camera. But I still don't see any instructions in here yet, so we will get some of the foam off. All right, and again, in this layer, you can see everything's packed really well. Everything's in its own little compartment. I see a page of stickers there, so the laptop's getting a new sticker. That'll be exciting. Looking in here, I'm seeing a laser module here and a laser module here. I know this one comes with the extra 1.6 watt, so that one is in a separate box right here. I am going to look back through here because I'm still not seeing any instructions. I will. Nope, that was not incorrect. All right, so what we've got in here, it looks like this is the tube for the air output. I did not actually see that when I was kind of looking at the packing list, so that's kind of nice. At least it gives you a little ways to get out. Maybe we can build something to go out the window. The power brick, which looks like the one I just got for a gaming laptop. This thing is huge. 360 watt power supply. So, safety glasses. Toolkit, so I'm sure we're going to need that very shortly. Hold that out. This is another batch of some screws, and looks like a holder for the hose, for the air hose, exhaust hose, and some more tools in there. All right, this is starting to get down to some small parts. The air compressor here for air. The other laser module looks like the air tube. This is power cord for the air assist power cord. All that's in here. So set that off to the side. And there's a piece of foam that is holding, and the other box was holding the axis from moving. So I'm pulling that out of here. And now we find the instructions. So the instructions are buried a little farther in than one might expect. I'm guessing by the black lines in here that each of these is a different language. Yep. So this is the US English part of the user manual and the setup. So it's not as daunting as it looks. This looks a little bit thick when you start looking at it like that. But we will get this all out. So we're gonna, of course, it tells you to refer to the installation video, but we're not going to do that. We're going to actually use the information that's in here. Packing list is in here telling us all the things that we are supposed to have in the box. There are some aluminum strips that go up over the top, one for the fan, one for the lights. And I did see that in one of the manuals when I was looking at it earlier. And we're gonna start putting those together. So we need to find those pieces, and I have not seen those in here yet. But we will find those. This, let's see here. This is the main frame of the laser. And it's, I mean, it's solid construction. I don't see any damage on the corners or anything. Everything looks to be in pretty good shape. I'll set that right there for now, and I'll get these pieces out. So I'm going to pull this tray out as a whole. This is a couple of strips here. This looks like the bed. This can be done as a knife edge bed, or they can be flat for cutting. I do like the knife edge beds. They tend to be a little more durable. The honeycomb beds are very nice if you got small parts that are going to fall out, but the honeycomb beds will tend to degrade over time pretty easily. So it's something to consider when you're deciding what you're going to cut on. And I've only cut on the larger CO2 lasers, so it will be a little bit different for me with this diode laser and the things that it needs. Okay, we are down to the bottom in this, and this is where we are finding those overhead bars that they're talking about. One for the LED lights and one for the camera, and the crossbar is right in the center. And these again are all packed very nicely, you know, to keep them from bending. There is foam all around it. They're in their own little channel in the bottom of the foam. And they are very hard to get out, but they are coming here. And this one's actually labeled with USB camera on the top of it. I don't know if that'll show up in the video or not, but it does say USB camera at the top of this one. This one does not say LED light, but we're going to assume that if it's not the USB camera, it's the USB light. I believe that I have everything out of here. So I'm going to set this to the side, and I'm going to move this out of the way for now. So the first things that we have are these two. They are labeled on the side, aluminum strip A fan and aluminum strip B light. So they are going like this, with A on my left and B on my right. And we've got this coming through here. This is not this. This support bar does not have a connector in it, so there's obviously another one we're looking for. And that would be this one with the USB camera in it. So it does tell us that the side with the connector is going to go toward the aluminum strip side. And so it's going to go in this way. And there are holes that all line up here, so we'll get that put together. Are we helping? I don't think we're helping. Come sit over here and watch. Okay, so we are looking for 2 countersunk head screws, but it does not tell us what size. Because we actually do have a lot of them in different, we have some in different sizes. So in this clear plastic container, I've got some flathead screws that look like they would be counterhead sunk. There are 4 short ones and 4 long ones in here. And this is telling me that I have 10 screws. So I'm going to assume that these in here are the ones that we're talking about. So in these bags, I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 counterhead sunk screws or flathead screws and a bunch of round head screws over here. So we're going to use these. Let's see if, yep. There is an Allen key in here for that. So we will get those and move along. I know better than to leave screws out because somebody here will grab one and take them away. So I'm putting those back in the bag, taking these 2, and I'm going to reline this up again, going back to my instructions. The labels are on this side. This one is on my right, and this is where the USB camera is going. Now, interestingly, this does say USB camera on this side. So, again, I guess just for another little confirmation that it's the right one. But that was the wrong Allen key. So let me see if I can find the correct Allen key for this. I don't like the fact that the screws are in the bag and the Allen keys are in a different bag. You would want to have the things that are going to go together, and this is definitely not doing that. So we will, hi, you are very much in the way. I feel like these are going in crooked. Having a little bit of trouble with this. It's lined up, but one of these screws just feels a little bit off, and like it wants to. Were we taking tools? I did finally line it up. The rule of thumb is to undo your screw, go counterclockwise a couple of turns so that it sits down. This didn't immediately do that. It's almost like the hole in the brace up here is just a little bit too large to smoothly fit it through. But I did it counterclockwise and pushed it till I felt like it was up straight. Felt a little click and then started screwing it back in, and that seems to work much better. So those are in and secure, and you are going to leave my tools alone. Okay, so I got those in there. Hopefully that'll make this easier on this side to do that. It's durable and it's cat proof. As you can tell, we're going to have a lot of fun with something that moves around. So this will be out in my workshop where inquiring teeth will not get at it. So I'm double checking, making sure that I've got my labels in the same direction, this going in the right direction. The holes do line up. I feel like if I had had those the other way, they would definitely not have lined up. So again, backwards a couple of rotations, forward, holding everything right angle. And that was me, not the cat that did that one. I always recommend don't tighten up all your screws at once. Go to just about tight. And then once you've got them all about that range, then go back and tighten them all fully. I did that with this one. This right hand screw I did just enough to hold it flat. Put the other one in, that one maybe a little bit tighter. Now tighten that one up and you go back and double check. So we are solid on that part. And now we are sliding the transparent film back into the track. So we're going to, and of course I picked a table that was just slightly too small. Now it is showing in the instructions the clear plastic one. So we are going to use this one. And I am going to take the material off of here because I do not want this overheating inside of there and causing a problem. So there is a protective film on this. I am going to pull that off. It is on both sides. There's no place on this to get a foothold, so you just kind of scrape one corner and go, and it comes off. And now we are sliding this in, and they're talking about track 1 and track 2. Front and rear. So this is the front. Okay, so we're sliding this in the back over here, and track 1, which is the inside. Okay. So it's in here. I'm a little not confused, but this is just not really holding well. So you're trying to get it into the edge of the vertical piece here, and it's tough, keeping it all straight and all the way along. It's in, and I'm assuming we're going to have a bar that's going to go across here real quickly. So pay attention to the position of the corners, keep sliding forward, slide it all in, snap it into the center bar, and then yes, now we're going to have this support bottom bracket on here, and this should only go on in one direction. And of course, this particular bar, they give you no information on. There's no close-ups on this one, but as I can see it, this has a taller part on this side, shorter part on this side. Taller part goes toward the outside of the frame, and then the plastic will go to the inner track. So what I did is I put it onto the inner track here, all the way along, and onto here. And now we need a couple more of these screws. Hopefully this will tie this all together and provide some stability. You noticed as I got the plastic all the way in, the plastic at the end where I'm at now started to come out of the track, and again it's because there's nothing really to hold it in, because these two bars can spread apart. This crossbar is holding those together and will hold that plastic in place. This one I am going to tighten up pretty good. Come over to here, make sure that we're in all the way along. And so it turns out that longer piece is pretty well centered on the top bars. So when you get that in, all right. Just double checking to see if there's anything that we could have done differently. Making sure that that's all right. We are in the one channel. There is another channel in the back, but it doesn't seem to be used, and it seems to be out of the way of track 2. Again, there's no close-up on this bar in the instructions. We're on this one right here, and all it says is put the bar in, put the transparent film according to the track, and secure with the countersunk screws. So if anything is wrong, this is wrong, because it's a possibility that it could have gone the other way. I think this is in the correct way, and to be clear, that means that there's an extra little track in the back here. The plastic's in on the center one. The bar itself is centered on here, and the screw goes right into that. That looks correct to me, but we'll have to see as we go forward. All right, so now we've got another piece. So now we're putting the front piece in, and this is the one that has the extra bar across it, and this is the one that was in the foam. So we're talking about this one here, and again we've got a lot of plastic covering on this, so I am going to take this off. It would be nice if they specifically told you, take the plastic off, but they don't. My personal opinion is that this stuff is very thin, very light. Heat is going to make it melt and cause a lot of problems, and it needs to be off. But again, it is never explicitly said in the directions to take that off. This is a little bit tougher because this plastic actually goes underneath these bars a little bit. At least it did on the other side. This one's not quite so bad. And I was getting little pieces that didn't really want to come out. So be very careful. You don't want to leave some little chunk of this plastic in there, kind of hanging out. Yeah, it was just that one piece. The rest of these seem to be cleanly cut along the edge. Oh, this one again too. So it'll be hard to see, but right here, this plastic is going underneath the gray bar. So I'm kind of pulling it out from underneath there. There is a warning on here: please clean the tray promptly and do not accumulate debris. I feel like that's a warning label that wants to stay on your laser, but I'm not much for warning labels. You can probably tell I grew up in the era of no warnings on things, and so I'm pretty sure I can be very smart about my operation of the laser without having big warning stickers on there. But because of all that, this stuff came off very badly, and I'm trying to get all of the plastic out of here. And this is not as easy as the other three sections. Yeah, that's going to need some cleanup later. There's little bits that are under here and not coming out, so I'm going to have to get some tweezers and get in there and pull that out. Same probably with this side. We'll see if this comes out any cleaner. What I did that seems to be helping a little bit more is pull the plastic off of the red guard right up until the gray bar, and then try to get it out of there, and that does seem to be a little bit better. All right, now on this one, they are not, again, showing you a lot of detail, but if you look at this piece, there is a handle, a little finger area on this side. That's going to end up being out. I can guarantee that that's correct, and this is going to go in like this. So we are going to slide this into track 2, which is the outer track, and the outer track is a little bit thicker than the inner track, track 1, because this has these metal bars sliding into there, and there's little metal tabs on the side of each of these sliding down. So that will slide all the way in to there. And then we have another bar, this one. And the only thing that I can see on these directions in this particular frame is that it's showing a button on one side or a switch on one side, and I see that switch right here. So I'm gonna assume that this goes in this direction. Well, nope, I was wrong. There's one on both sides. So it does only go in one direction. And there's a cable over here which is not shown in the directions. There is a ghost of a picture of the warning label but there's one on both sides. So yeah, they give some very, very explicit instructions in some areas and not in others. And you gotta use your common sense and figure this out. This does not seem right because yeah, I don't understand this. Because this is now on the underside of, oh, I guess that's right. I guess that's true. I guess you pull down to open that up. Yeah, this items number 10 and 11 on here are not very clear. There is a couple of connectors on here that I'm sure have to go in the right direction, but I'm not seeing where they need to go. And I'm sure that once I put this together, all this will be obvious, but this only goes in one direction. This goes under there. I am going to put this in, and we are going to see how it goes going forward. These screws are a little bit more difficult to line up. I did find that they've got to go all the way to the front, and I'm just not seeing how they... That's not working because that is crimping down on this part. Okay. All right. I was correct. This needed to go in further. They do not show this again on the instructions. Well, I take that back. They sort of do. I was kind of confused because in step 10, they have the picture of you sliding in the cover. And then in picture 11, the cover is not there, as if they forgot to put it in 11, but what it is it slid all the way to the back. And what I needed more cat help. That was why I had trouble with this. So, taking the light bar back off. Okay. And here, what I didn't get was, we are taking this and sliding this. I thought it stopped at the center, but that didn't make any sense to me. And this slides all the way back to here, and now we put the light bar on. Now I'm still hoping this light bar is in the correct direction. It did seem like it only went in one particular direction, but again, there's nothing on here to really show which end this cable goes on. It'd be nice if they just said, hey, cable goes to this direction. But there's nothing there like that. So we are going to put this on here. Last little tighten ups. All right. And so we are going to set this to the side, and we're going to bring up the rest of the chassis. And I'm going to do this sideways because I picked a table that was just a little too small to do the installation. It's talking about installing the laser module onto the rear section. So we've got primary laser module out. There are two set screws on the inside. They don't appear to be impinging, but I'm just moving them back a little bit extra. There it goes. Okay. I'm going to bring this all the way over here. Connect the silicone tube. And it's just a press fit in here. There's no line to tell you how far to go in, but it seems to just go right in. So we're plugging this cable into the far side. plugging it in first and then putting it into the buckle, because that way we don't have any excess on that end, and the excess is only over here. I'm going to do one other thing. I'm going to pull this back out, and well, I think I'm going to pull it back out. All right, we are not. So for right now, we're going to just do this. What I was going to do is, you can see there's a little bit of a loop in here. What I was going to do is pull this out, kind of give it a twist, and unplug it a little, unkink it a little bit. But yeah, let's try this. There we go. Okay. So just try to loop this a little bit more naturally. Plug that in, put the cable in there, cable in the second one, third one, and there's a small piece of Velcro here. Hold these together over here. Okay, and that holds those two together. It's just saying tighten the screws on the laser module, and now we're going to put all the slats in, and I'm going to put them in slat mode for myself. There are a lot of these. So this is probably going to be one of those, come back later, and we'll have these for you. They do have an up and a down. There's a knife edge. Knife edge should go up. So I'm going to put these in real fast and see you back in a minute. Okay, so that is every other one spaced out in here. We have all those in there. Again, there is a way that you can put them in there flat. I've opted not to do them flat at this time. I like the knife edge. Now they're talking about putting the top cover onto here. Connect the assembled protective frame to the principal part. So we're going to put this on top of here. And I am going to verify that, yes, in fact, the cable connection from the light bar is on this side, and the connector is over here. So look at that. There was really only one way to put that in, and that's in there. All right. What I see on this is that the only thing really holding this top piece onto here is the side pieces being screwed on, and they have the fan going out on this side. So this one without the fan is going to come on the side near me. And again, we've got your aunt's plastic covering from her sofa on all of these, and we're going to take that off. If you did not have an aunt that left their plastic coating on the sofa, you probably grew up in a different area than I did. All right. This material is considerably thicker than the top cover. All appears to be the same red for the laser reduction. These are going to go on here. These are going to go on with all the round-headed screws. And again, there are a lot of these, so chances are I will speed you through this. There is the hole for the USB camera connector over here, USB-C, and that's going to go on there. And there is a hole for the switch over here, so that's going to go that way. But it does seem like it only goes on one direction. They only go on one side, so it's not too hard. Getting the first one in, we'll hold it in place, and now it's just all the rest. In the back corner, the bar that goes across does have to get down in between some of the frame in order for these bottom screws to match up. So there is a, it does have to go solidly down, and it did kind of click in place, and then has to go forward, and now the holes line up. Done. Okay, so that's this side. Same number of screws, same deal on the other side. We're going to flip this around and do that. Again, I'll try not to bore you with the details. This air tube coming out, fan going in. All right, and that's it. I did, do all this with the tools that came with it, just because I want to show you that it can be done with the tools that came with it. They're not great. They're little Allen wrenches. They're very soft material. I did bring up my big tool kit, and you've seen these. There's 39,000 bits in here, and a nice driver, but they're hardened material, and they work a lot nicer, and they keep your fingers from bleeding when you're doing this stuff. So it's definitely worth having one of those around. But like I said, my key is I want to see what the tools are that come with it and use the tools that are there. So we have this side secured. I did notice that on this side there's the same hole for the USB-C that's on the other side, but there's nothing to go through it. At least I haven't seen anything yet, and it's partially covered by the bar, so I'm not quite sure why that's there, but that's going to cause smoke to leak out. So we're going to watch that later on and see how that goes. All right, so now we've got both sides locked in. It's saying to connect the fan and light panel cables to the principal part, and the fan connects apparently to the light board, and the light board connects under here to the control board inside of here. So those two connectors are right in here. The visual on the directions is pretty good. It doesn't kind of tell you where that fan cable is going to, but it goes right there. It does look like this fan the cable will go right into this raceway. That's what I'm going to do. We'll see what they say. Now they're talking about putting the exhaust pipe on and putting the air assist on. I'm not going to do that right here because I've got to get this into an area where it's actually going to be on and tested. But we'll give you a little idea of what that is. So your air assist is this device here. There is in your main parts box, you have a small air tube. So that air tube is going to, and at the risk of going sideways on here, that is going to go into this connector right here. So your air assist is right here in the front, and that's going to go into there. And then there's another cable for control that goes right into here as well. And so that's where your air assist is going in and out of that. I'm going to pull this tube off for right now. Like I said, do that later. The other part of that is the exhaust, and that was this tube that we saw earlier. If you have the ability for this to go right to a port outside, great. It doesn't say how long this is. I will measure it and put that into the video. But this will go right onto here, and there is a cable clamp that works with that. So cable clamps, for those of you who are unfamiliar with them, you pinch these. So this goes onto here. You put the hose onto here, pinch your cable clamp real good so that it opens way up, and if you need to, grab a pair of pliers, put your hose through there, and now this is clamping onto the hose and the solid plastic. And I might just do that for you now, just to show you what that looks like. Because again, for people that are not used to doing hoses and things like that, it's a little new. But again, we're putting, and they don't give you a lot of direction in here on how to do it. They kind of show you install it and tighten it with the clamp. That's not a lot of information. So this is now onto the hard plastic. The clamp is right here. I'm going to open up this clamp, move it on top of the hose, and then I'm also going to open it up and shove the hose on maybe a little bit more, Try to get it on there as firmly as I can. And then when you let go of this clamp, that's all it needs to hold it on. The hose is spiraled, so the clamp is going to go across one of those spirals no matter what you do. Don't kill yourself trying to get it in between the spirals. It's just not gonna work. So get that all on there as far as you can. That'll just keep as good a seal as you can get right there. This hose is, I mean, it's got some durability to it, and it's got some, I guess, sealing capability, it seems. It's not just your standard plastic hose. So I think that will probably seal that up well. And then this hose obviously extends if you've ever put a dryer in. You know, it's a dryer hose, just a little bit smaller. Looks like it's about the size of most shop vac hoses, and I've got some extra shop vac hose in the garage, so I'm going to try that out with it as well. For this part of the unbox and setup, I think we are done. We are at step 23, where we're connecting in the power supply, and now you're going to start going in, calibrating it, and getting it ready. And I'm not going to do that right here because we got a lot of other stuff around, as you can see. All right, thank you very much for joining us. I will post some information in the description below. Watch again for the next part of this as we get this set up, get it calibrated, and start doing some cutting. Thank you all very much. Have a great day.